Tell us more about Iona Station.
Well, Iona Station is not a vast city. It was originally just Iona, about 3 miles south, but or 2 miles south. But then the railroad came through, and Iona became Iona Station. There were 2 of them in my time. And I suppose I've said this before, it had the best communications of any place in Canada. If you got on a train, you went almost non-stop to New York City, stopped in Buffalo, and got on a ship, you were on your way to Liverpool. If you went the other way, you got off at Detroit, you got to Detroit, non-stop to Detroit, and or I guess they might have been stop at Windsor, and then on to Chicago and the Far East. Wonderful. The only problem being that the trains didn't stop. And I remember telling this for television one day after I'd written a book about that part of the world, telling this story. And as I told it, a train went roaring through. It was perfectly staged. A year ago, as we talk, a year and a few months ago, President Clinton gave me the Medal of Freedom, which is a nice thing, and it's the medal, most distinguished medal for a civilian in the United States. And gave me the nice ceremony at the White House, very bad for my sense of modesty. And a Canadian journal that somebody sent me who disapproved of some of my economic views said it was time that someone from Iona Station received distinction.
Can you talk about the role of the intellectual in influencing government policy and whether or not that's still true in this day and age?
Oh, it was dominant in the New Deal. The New Deal was a government in almost all departments of professional, intellectual community. Local leaders who were school teachers, going from Cambridge here to Washington on a Friday night, you could have a faculty meeting. So many professors were going down to advise on something on a Thursday night, I guess it was. And one of the forgotten facts of the Great Depression was that there was a desperate shortage of economists. So we were the favored profession of the whole period. When I arrived in Washington, as I said before, I was put immediately on the payroll for the next few months because of the shortage of economists. And this close connection between the New Deal and the academic community, which continued in Truman time and was also, again, very close in the time of John F. Kennedy, was one of the rewarding facts of that time. And today, that association is not nearly so close, and instead there is the very close, very important association between the administration and the corporate hierarchy, corporate management. A very large a number of President Bush's senior figures are men and women, mostly men, who have made it in the private sector.
Well, that's a very good lead-in, because in Canada there's been a real push to seek corporate funding rather than public funding for universities. And what effect do you think that that will have on our universities? Because I have a feeling that that's a parallel thing that's happened in universities here in the United States.
I do believe that public support of the universities is absolutely vital. Places like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, a few others get by without it in what is held to be a fairly distinguished way. But the great triumph in the United States and in Canada is the state and provincial universities. Those are the real light of the cultural, social, educational achievement of the two countries.